Okay, alright, here we are again. Ivan Conway here. Later on the same day, um, this is going to be my second of my discussion videos, I suppose. So, this is still, full brain data now. July the 7th, 7 or 8. I don't know, maybe. I got Alzheimer's, people, don't mind me. Honest to God, I'm struggling to remember the freaking date there then again. July the 7 or the 8, one or the other. Like I said, I check now when I go back to the house. I thought I said 7. It said 7 on my laptop there this morning, so I don't think it's changed that much since the past few hours. Still 7, I guess. Anyway, I'm assuming it must be after 6 o'clock now. It's because it was after 5 when I left the house and earlier, and I'm sure I've been out for over an hour now. So I'm going to say it's anywhere between 6 and maybe quarter after 6 now, somewhere around there, I suppose. So like I said, same day, January. Free darn, trying not to get bad language. I don't believe this. I'm going to have to cut this off now because I'm screwing this one up already. Don't mind me getting annoyed, people, because I just get annoyed because I can't do this stuff right. I said I don't really want to cut this off and start over again, so I'll just keep it all in, unedited, rough and raw like all my videos. Whoever watches these will never get to see videos quite the same again, quite similar to what I put together, I tell you. Alright, I'm just going to work with it and just go with the flow here. So as I said, July, I don't know why I'm thinking January for freak's sake. I started watching the winter videos there earlier today, see. My brain is just not functioning right. Far from January, thank God. July the 7 or 8, and like I say, it's 2020, somewhere between 6 and quarter after 6. So anyway, I'm just going to chat here for a while now, because I think another 20-minute video just me jibber-jabbing. I don't know if I even want to get into what I was thinking about getting into, because I'm getting so freaking annoyed and everything, and things just don't seem to work the way I want it to. I don't know how well that works in my favor for some of the other stuff that I want to get into, to be honest with you. Now, I'm hoping I'm speaking loud and clear here now. I'm well away from everybody. I'm on the university grounds here right now, actually, Memorial University grounds, and the spot that I've picked to continue on with this series of videos. It's a nice big open field area. When I do my second out and about, which I'll do after this one now once I finish talking, jibber jabbing, going on with my nonsense and my foolishness and whatever pops in my mind to go on with, I will flick the screen around here and let you see the spot that I'm at, and it's gorgeous right now. So the sun, if I'm correct on the time, well, I mean we should still have another hour, a couple hours of sunlight yet, you know, so it should be good for the sun. As far as getting nice images, this is a lovely spot. So I'm definitely going to have to get this now once I finish my little talking video here. But anyway, I'm well away from everybody here now. Should be. I don't see any reason why anybody should pop up on me in this particular spot. So nobody can overhear me. Not easily, you shouldn't anyway. So I'm speaking loudly and clearly. The sun right now is beaming down directly on my face. So this is where you're seeing the shadows there and all the rest of it. There's not too much I can do about that. You can see a little bit of color in my face, and I see when the camcorder goes a certain way here. But so I don't look like death warmed over here too much. But yeah. So again, it's, you know, a lot of this, you know, people, when you don't have your own transportation, when I don't, and you don't have a lot of money to work with, and I don't, next to none really, and you got nobody to turn to, nobody to help you out with the stuff that you're doing and so on. You do it all by yourself, which I do. And you've got next to nothing to work with of good quality, which I don't, yet anyway. You know, you're very, very severely limited in the stuff that you can do, and well, I mean, it makes you come across very amateurish and very, you know, unprofessional. I'm trying not to be unprofessional. I'm trying to make good videos. I'm trying to be laid back, easygoing, fun, all the rest of it. And like, you know, this is all an experiment. Look at it that way, okay? People, just, this is all an experiment. It's an experiment for me in doing this. It's not that I haven't watched enough videos and movies and series and miniseries and all the rest of it to get a good idea of what kind of works and what doesn't work, as far as what people might find interesting and what they might not find interesting. So it's not that I'm utterly, completely inexperienced, you know, with that. And as I said, I mean, when it comes to YouTube alone, I've been surfing YouTube now for well over, it's got to be over 8 years. And, you know, so I mean, I've seen enough YouTube's videos to know what people find interesting and what they don't find interesting, you know, and so on and so forth. So I know that what I'm doing here and the quality of it and all the rest of it, it's far from ideal. It's far from professional. You know, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of all that. I'm very painfully aware of all that. But as I try to explain in all the videos, you know, I don't have much money to work with. I'm starting from scratch here. You know, I've made this decision now recently over the past well, week or so, I suppose, a couple weeks, week or so. To start taking my YouTube channel to the next level, making the decision kind of right out of the blue, and so you know, so I can only start off with what I have to work with, and so that's cheap, crappy camcorder that I bought back in 2012 at a local Canadian toy store, discontinued stock I think it was too, for $50. I have used this camcorder quite a bit since 2012, made quite a few videos. I've got well over, I would say, 100 odd videos, if not maybe 120, 130 odd, because I certainly haven't counted every single one up that I've made over the past you know, 2012 to 2020 here, whatever that is, you know, 8-9 years, whatever. So, you know, I have videos to work with, and going back over the past several years, and at my previous location and all the rest of it, and around town, and so on and so forth. So, not all of it I've got uploaded to my computer yet. Some kid crying in the background or someone. I hope that's not going to be picked up on the camcorder too much. See, it doesn't matter where you go to. It's so hard to find a good spot to do these things. I try. But anyway, that's how easy I can get distracted too. So again, like all I need from people is just to be patient with me and you know, just go along with the ride with me, sort of thing, as I'm doing this and as I'm you know, developing the process there and getting the better stuff to work with and all the rest of it. And the people that I think I would want checking in on my channel are people that, how do I explain it tactfully? hopefully they're the kind of people that won't be put off by superficial things, like like videos that some might consider to be too lengthy, or videos that some might consider to be like not active enough or whatever, or videos that aren't made with the latest state-of-the-art recording equipment or whatever, so it looks very professional and polished and all that jazz. I mean, all that can be fun, all that can be great, all that can be wonderful, and so on and so forth. Yes, certainly. But I think there's something to be said for things that are done in a sort of a rough and raw manner as well, that adds a certain level of realism and authenticity to the material. And so I'm hoping that that's what I'm going to be able to provide with the videos that I make and upload to my channel, that if nothing else, in all their roughness and rawness content, they'll also come across as being real and genuine. I'm not a rich guy, I'm a poor guy. So I have next to nothing to work with, and I'm wanting to make these changes, and so like I said, I've got what I've got to work with, and that's all I can do. So over the next few months, like I was saying there a little earlier there, I will be trying my best, providing the weather cooperates, to get out around town as much as I possibly can. Again, see, now with this darn virus, I'm going to say, get into that for a moment here now. Everything is affected everywhere. Now, you wouldn't think, probably like St. John's, Newfoundland, being so rural and all that sort of thing, that we would be as affected as some places, but we are. I mean, like St. John's is the capital of Newfoundland. We do have a lot of tourists here in the summertime. We have cruise ships come here and all that, all that sort of thing. We do have a population base here in St. John's from different parts of the world as well. How many of those people now are stuck here because of the travel ban? So I have no idea. Having to stay here regardless. So there's a diversity of population base here in St. John's, proper sort of thing, if not throughout the rest of the province. So like we're not that much out of the way sort of thing, like out the boondocks, you could sort of say. So we're affected. I mean, I would say the whole of Newfoundland is affected, but I mean certainly here in St. John's, I mean, we're affected. So as far as getting around town easily, I mean, I haven't done hardly any traveling around St. John's now since this past winter. Now, we have had a particularly bad, and I'm going to go into a bit of a chatter now. I may not get it all into one video. I may have make 2 videos just on that alone. I don't know. I don't know how much you don't want to listen to me go on about stuff. But just here in St. John's, since this winter kicked in, this past winter, winter of 2019, and then come the new year, 2020. We've had a pretty rough time of it around here, because this winter was one of the worst winters for us, as far as according to what people were saying, according to what the city's been saying and all the rest of it, and people have been keeping records and stuff and all the rest of it. One of the worst winters that we've had on record. Although I mean, I think when you go back to the 40s and 50s and 20s and 30s and all that sort of thing, surely glory, I mean, they must have had pretty rough, severe winters and so on that, but I was hearing that our winter, this past winter, 2019, 2020, was one of the worst ones on record, so we had a lot of snow non-stop, and we had that St. John's being shut down for about a month or so back in January. So we had that, and all I was doing all the winter was just shoveling non-stop, freaking shoveling. I mean, it was just unreal. So and everybody was feeling the effects from that. And like I said, St. John's was shut down for about 3 weeks in January, I believe it was. So, you know, we were no more out of that lockdown from the heavy dumping of snow and everything being incapacitated because of that, and the city trying to get on top of it and clear everything up, clear everything up so people could get around town again and all the rest of it. When we got hit with this, this cursed virus thing, and for December and January, I myself personally I was fretting more about the weather conditions than I was this virus, to be honest with you, because when it first started, I took it as when you were hearing stuff on the news and all the rest of it, I took it as just being a thing happening in China, to be honest with you. It's like a local thing happening in China, and that wasn't going to affect anyone else. So when it first came out on the news and so on, I didn't think too much of it. I mean, we were going through our situation here in town anyway, with the bad weather conditions and all the rest of it, and I was more preoccupied with the endless friggin' snow shoveling and keeping the front of our house clear and our driveway clear and all that sort of stuff, rather than worrying about a virus that people were getting in another part of the world, that I figured I was sure would blow over within a few weeks anyway, So I thought back then. But of course we know now that it played out differently, and it has been what it has been now for the past several months. So like I said, St. John's was no more free from the lockdown, from the storms and everything we had this past winter. Then we got hit with this virus, and then everything had to shut down all over again. So for us, St. John's has been sort of in a state of emergency. I don't want to say emergency, it's almost too melodramatic or whatever. A state of urgency or whatever. Since around Christmas time, I suppose, I could say. I mean, since we got our first big dumping of snow on Christmas Day, right up to now, one thing or another. So it's been quite a readjustment for all of us, I think. I mean, I for all these people that have had to, be laid off work, and their work has been affected by it, their jobs have been affected by it, and their businesses have been affected by it, and all that sort of thing. I guess it's been a really trying period for sure. And for someone myself who hasn't been working, I don't want to say too much about myself along those lines, at this point anyway, I personally haven't been affected that way, as such. My lifestyle hasn't changed drastically regardless, because I sort of keep to myself an awful lot anyway. I always do. So that part hasn't even changed hardly at all for me. And I never really have much money to work with, so that part hasn't changed drastically for me. So for me personally, I mean, my lifestyle really hasn't changed all that drastically, over the past several months from when this first started. But you get, it affects you in a different way over time, because you see everything that's going on around you, and you see all the restrictions, and I mean, I just had to go over to the hospital there a little earlier, just to dart in, just to use the washroom. That's all I had to do. I had to go and use the washroom, because going along the trail there, going up in the hospital, I needed to, do my business. And I knew the public washrooms at the hospital were nearby, so I figured I'd dart in, use their washrooms and go on about my business, like I would normally do any other time, like I have done before, because I live sort of in a general area anyway, and if I was close to the hospital and I needed to, take care of my business, I'd go and use the washroom in the hospital. So anyway, so I went over and I did that there earlier, and I mean, it's like what I had to go through just to get in, just to use darn washroom was ridiculous. I had to go through this big old rat's maze that they had set up in the main entrance, and once I got through that, I had to speak to a security guard and ask about a dozen different questions about my health situation and all the rest of it before I could get past this point to even get in to even use a lousy old washroom, you know. And and I had my mask on, you know. I don't have it on right now because, like I say, I'm outside. I'm nowhere near anybody. This mask here that I have with me all the time, and all it is just a painter's mask, actually. Oh, I'm going up to 20 minutes already, darn it. I'll clear off in a second now, and I'm going to have to do another video on this. I just know I am, because there's too much I want to say here now. Anyway, it's just a painter's mask, and it's all I had to work with when this thing first kicked in. So I need to get a whole bunch more new ones of those. Like I said, I've used that one quite a bit. But anyway, so when this kicked in, and some people were advising that people go around wearing masks. I didn't have the proper mask. That was the closest thing I had to use. So I started using that. Now I've been using that constantly over the past several months. Even when I'm not asked to, not expected to, I have it with me. And when I'm out in public, like in a public place, that like you know, a mall or a store or wherever it might be around a lot of people and so on, I'll wear it. I don't have to be told to wear it. I just wear it anyway because it's just a common sense thing to do, the precautionary common sense thing to do. So anyway, so you know, I had that on when I went into the hospital, so they could see that I was being careful and all the rest of it. But once again, I mean, it's just one more extra layer of precautions that everyone is taking everywhere, that you are seeing it more and more and more everywhere you go. And it's been several months of it now, and it basically, I guess, is the new normal. I mean, for everybody everywhere, I assume. Certainly the new normal for us. And it's a weird situation, people, because like we're adjusting. I'm adjusting best I can, but it's a surreal experience when you see people everywhere with masks and shield guard things and all that sort of stuff, and you see all kinds of barriers up in different places and so on, that people going around wearing gloves, and it's surreal. It's the only way I know how to explain it. It's surreal. You're going about your business kind of sort of normal, but then you're seeing all this stuff going on around you that like you've never seen before in your entire life, and it's really a weird, surreal kind of experience. And at any point you have it in the back of your mind that it could be a flare-up with this thing anywhere at any point, and then you're brought into a higher level of emergency all over again. Now I'm going to just close this part of my conversation up. I'm just saying this here now. Right now, Newfoundland is all of Newfoundland, as far as I know, we're at a, how do they explain that again now? A level 2 alert or something like that, I think they're calling it now. 1 grade down from where we were before. So that means things are open up around St. John's, around Newfoundland, so on that, but only at a certain level. And there's still all kinds of restrictions and all kinds of precautionary measures and all that sort of stuff, you know. And it will stay that way indefinitely until we're told different, or if things get worse again and then everything gets kind of locked down again, sort of thing, you know. So, but that's where we're at right now with our situation here. And so you go about every single day of your life, you know, with this thing, and just dragging on sort of thing. And you know, you adjust as best you can, sort of thing. And so I mean, I'm here right now outside by myself, lovely afternoon, so on that. I can pretend that none of this is going on, you know, when I'm away from everything, but you know, when you go to a public spot, then you're painfully made aware of the difference. So okay, I'm going to, that's 24 minutes now, so I'm going to clue this part off, and I'm going to start another video. I'll probably chat about this a little bit more, because I got a lot of stuff I want to get on my system here about this. So how this is going to translate now when I upload it to YouTube, and what I'm going to title this, I don't really know, but I'm probably sharing stuff that a lot of people are thinking about, you know, want to get into a conversation about. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. So okay then, so I'm going to clue this off here now. I'm going to start another one, and if it's not too late in the evening and it's not too dull, I'll make another video of, and I got to watch them with battery power as well, make a video of the surrounding areas before I clue up for this evening. So okay then, let's see it for the moment then. I'll let it go to 25 minutes there now, and everyone take care, God bless, and I'll start again now in a moment. Okay, just wait until the 25-minute mark now. Alright, take care, God bless.